Welcome to acTVism Munich. I'm your host Zan Raza, reporting from the Volksbühne in Berlin. Today, journalists, artists, activists, and politicians are coming together from all over the world to support Wikileaks founder Julian Assange, who was forced to seek asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy in London 4 years ago on this day. They considered persecution against him illegal as well as immoral and asking the world to stand up against this injustice. This event today will also deal with the issues of whistleblowing, investigative journalism, and transparency. From intellectuals such as Noam Chomsky and Slavoj Zizek, journalists such as Amy Goodman and Jeremy Scahill, and artists such as Brian Eno, PJ Harvey, and Patti Smith, the entire cultural spectrum is a display here. We are here to talk directly to the organizers and participants and to find out what this event means for democracy and the future of humanity.
I was a theatre director before I became an activist, so it was kind of natural in a way, and I got bored by doing Shakespeare and all these bourgeois problems on stage, and then I found out about Wikileaks and I thought, oh, maybe that's an interesting topic to make a documentary theatre. And so I happened to have the lucky position that I got to know Julian Assange and interviewed him several times during the last 4 years in the Ecuadorian embassy.
He stays very strong. He focuses on his work a lot, and with his type of personality and work ethic, this keeps him very busy and keeps him going. We have a lot of good publications coming up this year. And so that, definitely keeps him busy. There have been some interesting wins in his legal case this year. For example, the United Nations ruled that his detention is arbitrary and that the United Kingdom and Sweden should release him immediately. Sadly, those countries are not actually following the United Nations judgment, but it is still a positive move forward in his case. They are very difficult conditions that he is there under. For example, he basically is in one room within what is a very small embassy in the centre of London. He has no outside space. He hasn't been able to be in the sun for 4 years now. So they are tough conditions, but he works through and he stays strong.
I understand that I am speaking to around 10 cities. I am normally very isolated here at the embassy, so I understand that it's a bit of a shock to be speaking to perhaps 100,000 people from these different venues and online. There are some consolations to being arbitrarily detained, and there is some luck in being an accused person. Luck in being accused of being a spy, a terrorist, luck in being accused of being a sex criminal. And you might think that surely it is a shock and a devastation to wake up to find one transformed into a demon, into a thing, into an unspeakable thing, a frightening thing. No, it's wonderful, because it is not that you change, it is that others change. You stay the same, but you now have a gift. You now have a superpower, the superpower of the accused. This superpower is to reveal the true characters of others. Who does not long from childhood for such a power to understand the true nature of one's friends? We are not traduced, we the accused, but the people and states around us are. Great characters rise and great cultures step forward to shine. False smiles fade, concealed alliances are revealed, the timid retreat, and love is no longer merely a word, but it is an action. This is the superpower of the accused.
Whistleblowers are not really protected in Germany. The German Bundestag, the parliament, is working on a law for the protection or the regulations about whistleblowers, but this debate is very controversial, and I don't see that this law will come in the near future, but at a certain point it will come. And but if you ask about the German government why they don't invite let's say, Edward Snowden to enjoy his life in Berlin instead of Moscow, then it is very clear that the Americans, due to historical reasons, I mean, they liberated us from the Nazis, from our own Nazis. So there is a special relationship with the United States, and German governments are cowardly following the American or US governments.
Zeitungsmeldungen, TV-Meldungen.
Newspaper and TV reports are fleeting. After a couple of weeks or months, they just slump. That's why there has to be a true movement of the population to demonstrate that this is an unacceptable situation. This movement has to side with whistleblowers and find ways to protect and help them.
An die Seite der Whistleblower setzen und Möglichkeiten suchen, sie zu schützen und ihnen zu helfen. Weil die Whistleblower geben ja nicht ihre
Whistleblowers don't pass on their information to the public for their own sake. They do it for all of us. They do it for the societies in the US, Germany and other European countries. They do it in order to achieve a better democracy, a more transparent democracy, and to end abuse. If they do this for us, then it is our duty to come through for them, even outside of Parliament.
Unsere Pflicht, uns für sie einzusetzen, auch außerhalb des Parlaments.
I interviewed a bunch of other whistleblowers, including Edward Snowden, Bill Binney, Thomas Drake, and so on. So it was really a huge project, and we also hacked into the audience, and that was actually the activist part, to make the people feel how vulnerable their own devices are. So yeah, I think for me it was really, it changed my life to get to know all these people, and then I discovered that art and theater can be a powerful tool to be used for activism.
For Julian and his Long Defence Fund, as you can see, even these are the powers we're up against when even the United Nations is being ignored. So we definitely need as much help as possible there. And when it comes to WikiLeaks, we have many, many good publications coming up for the rest of this year. And if you want to see them faster, then just donate more there.
600 people participated today at the Volksbühne in Berlin, and hundreds of thousands were tuned in over 8 cities globally. There was a consensus around developing citizens' alliances and also institutional frameworks which would safeguard and protect whistleblowers. A great deal of focus was also put on the findings of the United Nations Group for Arbitrary Detention, which has determined that Julian Assange is being held unlawfully and should be compensated. We don't know what the future of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks will be, but what we can say from certain is that there's a growing movement and consciousness developing globally which understands the importance of whistleblowers and the impacts they have on democracy. I'm Zen Raza reporting from Volksbühne in Berlin. Thank you for joining us today.